It was just 8 years ago, guys. I was in the back row of the national conference in Atlanta. In 1997, on January 15th of 2007, a young lady walked into my store and showed me a way how I can stop being broke. Anybody interested in stop being broke? She told me that I can get paid on things that people are using every single day. I said it makes sense. I got involved with the company. And about a month later, they had a national conference in Atlanta, and my wife dragged me. She literally begged me to come to the conference, and I didn't want to go. And she partnered with Platinum SVP. They were scheming. Platinum SVP Ian Chevy and my wife started scheming behind my back. And they finally convinced me to come to the national conference. And I was so bad. I told my wife, I said, I don't want to be here. I said, you go to the conference, get the information, and bring it back for me. You guys ever heard that before? How many of you guys hear team members saying that to you? You go get the information and bring it back for me. So that's what I told Platinum SVP Ian Chevy and my wife. But I finally came. And then I sat in the back of the room. I was so bad. 12,000 people in the room. I chose the last row to sit in. But you know what? Here's a beautiful thing. God will find you even in the last row of the national conference. So those of you guys who are way in the back, let me hear you make some noise in the back of the room. God got something for you back there, up here, and in the middle. It doesn't matter where you're sitting. I was in the back of that room, and God saw me back there. Next thing you know, we're here today as Platinum SVP. So we're excited. Today we're going to talk about leadership, guys. And leadership is very, very important. How many leaders we got in the room? Now, I don't mean just talking leaders. I mean real leaders. How many real leaders we got in the room? Leadership is so important because leadership will define you. Leadership is what's going to define you. Leadership is what's going to cause you to leave a legacy behind for your children. It's going to cause you to leave a legacy behind for your family, for your mom, for your sister, for your brother. Leadership, from the very first day you were born, you've been under leadership. You got parents under leadership. When you went to school, you were under leadership. Yes or yes? Okay, you go to your job, you might hate it, but you're under some leadership on your job, right? And then you came and you joined 5 Links, and you're like, you know what? To go from the back of the room to get to the stage requires what? Say it loud like you mean it, 5 Links. Some of you guys are still a little confused as to what it takes. It takes leadership. You know why? Because you're dealing with people. You are dealing with people. The Chinese have a saying that says, if you think you're a leader, but no one's following, then you're simply taking a walk. Look at the person next to you and say, are you taking a walk? I hope you're not taking a walk this morning. Anybody here is a real leader? All right, beautiful. So here's the reason why leadership is so important. Leadership is going to define you. Your organization will never outgrow your level of leadership, ever. If you want to build a big team in network marketing, you want to build a big team in 5 Links, you have to become a leader because your organization will never outgrow it. You always lead at the level of leadership that you're at. So if you're an ET, you're leading at an ET level of leadership. An executive trainer, executive director, or national director, that's the level of leadership that you're leading at. So if you want to go to the next level, it's important that you surround yourself with people who are at a higher level than you because their influence is going to rub off on you, and that will cause your team to grow even faster. Make sense? So it's important. Now, my mentor used to always tell me that you are the sum total of the 5 people you hang around. So I used to always make sure I hang around smart people. Anybody feeling me? So leadership is so important. I always hung around leaders. So your organization will never outgrow your level of leadership. Okay? Here's another reason why. Your organization is what? A reflection of your leadership. If you are here at a national conference, that means that you are leading by example. So give yourself a hand for coming to the national conference. You can't be home and telling your team to go to the national conference. I had people call me up and say, you know what? I can't go to this conference, but my team is going. Are you kidding me? You are not a leader. There's no confusion here. You are not a leader if you're at home and you're telling me your team is going, but you're staying home. Are you a leader? No. So it's important that you understand your team is going to reflect you. The culture that you create is on you. If your team is committed, it's because you're committed. If your team is focused, it's because you're focused. If your team is excited, it's because what? You're excited. Make sense? All right, here's another reason. Your income is proportional to what? Your level of leadership. Some of you guys are saying, man, I don't make any money in 5 things, then become a better leader. Because why? Because you're dealing with people. And people, if you're dealing with people, then you have to lead. You can't manage people, you have to lead people. You have to inspire people. So that's why it's so important that you become a good leader. So how many of you guys are committed in 2015 to being the best leader that you can ever be? That means to go from the back of the room to the stage, you have to become the leader. Are you committed to doing that in 2015? Awesome. Awesome. So let's talk about what leadership is. Leadership in its basic sense is what? Now, you guys aren't reading my slides. What is it? Say it loud. Leadership is influence. Leadership in its basic sense is influence. As a leader and you're building a team in network marketing, when you're building a business, it doesn't matter what type of business it is, you have the ability to influence people's lives. You have the ability to let them believe and to dream and to bring things out of them that they never thought possible. You have the ability as a leader to inspire people so that they can see greatness inside of them. Are you guys hearing me, leaders? So your influence is what's going to rub off on that team. Your influence. Now, there are some good leaders, and there are what? There are bad leaders. So would you consider Adolf Hitler a good leader or a bad leader? He's a bad leader, but he's still a leader. You see what I'm saying? Because leadership is what? Influence. So he had a negative influence on his team. So when you tell your team, you don't need to get 25 points, are you being a good leader or a bad leader? When you tell your team, well, you don't need to get the Montevita, I'll give you some of my samples. Are you being a good leader or a bad leader? So you are influencing your team in a negative way. When you tell your team, you don't need to come to the conference, I'll go there, get the information and bring it back for you. You're influencing the team in a negative way. So be a good leader. What determines whether you're a good leader or a bad leader is your belief system. That's what determines how you influence. What you believe will determine what comes out of your mouth, and what comes out of your mouth will influence your team and your actions in either a good way or a negative way. So there are some good leaders, like let's say Martin Luther King, right? Right now it's his birthday. Can we give it a hand for the late Dr. Martin Luther King this entire month? He was a good leader. He influenced people in a positive way. He was able to, Dr. Martin Luther King was just a Baptist preacher. But he saw something happening in the U.S., in America, and really around the world, because in the 70s and 60s, this thing was happening all around the world. And when you become a leader, guys, sometimes you didn't mean to be a leader. Sometimes circumstances cause you to rise up and allow leadership to come out of you. And that's what happened to Dr. Martin Luther King. He was a Baptist minister, and he saw a need for a leader, someone to get up and inspire people that they can believe in themselves, that they can rise above oppression and become greater as a people. Are we excited that he did that for us? Yes or yes? And that's what your people, your team is going to feel like. You got to become the Martin Luther King for your team, to inspire them, to get them to rise above of mediocrity and see greatness inside of them. You have to inspire your team like that. But it's all about what you believe. So what you believe will lay the foundation for your level of leadership. That's why it's so important for you as a leader that you guard your mind, that you put yourself in the right environment, that you read the right books, that you never stop coming to the national conference. Yes or yes? Because it's going to shape the way you think, and the way you think is going to influence your team. And your team will always do what you do, not always what you say. So the right belief and the right mindset is going to shape your mind. That is going to promote you to have success. You see, depending on where you grew up, your mom or your dad probably was the person that pushed you to go to college or pushed you to go get a good job. When I was a kid, when I was 11 years old, my teacher told my mom, she said, take your son out of school. She said, your son can't learn. Imagine that. Anybody ever had a teacher say something negative about you? How in the world their opinion can shape my destiny? I refuse to allow someone else's opinion to shape my future and my destiny. And she told my mother, she said, when I was 11 years old, she said, your son can't learn, take him out of school. And I'm 11 years old, and in my mind, I'm thinking, I was just bored in school. Anybody felt really bored in school sometimes? And I knew I was just bored. I knew I was just bored. And I knew that, you know what, in the right environment, among the right people, I knew I could succeed. So here's the same person who she said couldn't learn at 11 years old, now standing on a stage helping thousands of people see the possibilities in their own life. So don't let other people's opinions shape your mind. It's about what you believe in yourself. And when you believe it, you can now influence people in a positive way. So your belief system is going to promote success. Success will give you influence. And when you have influence, people will start seeing you as what? A leader. They'll start seeing you as a leader. So you have to create more value for yourself by getting the right mindset that is going to promote success in your life, and success will give you more influence. And when you have more influence, it creates leadership. So let's talk about what leadership is not. Leadership is not what? Managing. Okay? Leadership is not managing. And we always talk about in 5 links, get out of what? Management mode. And a lot of people have no idea what that means. They have no idea what management mode is. So let's talk about it for a second. The word manage is a verb, and it comes from a root word called manus. Okay? The word is called manus. And it's the same meaning as the word command or demand. Tell the person next to you, that's why I hate my boss managing me. Tell the person next to you. So that's why I hate my boss managing me all the time. Because he's commanding and he's demanding things from you. And listen, you cannot manage people. You cannot manage people. All right? So that word manage comes from a root word called manus. It means to handle or control what? Things. Does it say people on that slide? No. Because you cannot manage or control people. You can manage and control things. Here's what you can manage and control: your schedule, your time, you can manage money, you can manage resources, but you cannot manage people. What do you do with people? Say it loud. You lead people. And leadership is what? Influence. The word lead comes from a root word called, which means to go. So as a leader, you're going to inspire people to do what? To go. So when you tell them, listen, let's go get to ED, are you influencing them properly? Yes or yes? Are you being a leader when you tell people, let's go get to SVP? Are you being a leader when you tell people, let's go get to platinum? That's what the word leader or lead means. It means to influence, but it is to influence them. It's to influence people to take action, to go. And that's what you have to do if you want to get to platinum or SVP or ED or ND. People, there's no way you can get to those levels without taking a team with you. You cannot get there by yourself. So if you're going to get there with people, then you have to know how to do what? How to lead. How to lead. So it's very important. So the word means to go. Tell the person next to you, say, let's go. Let's go get a platinum. Let's go get a diamond. Come on, influence them. Come on, let's go get a diamond. Let's go to platinum. That's what you got to be doing as a leader. Influence people to do what's right. Influence them in a positive way so they can change their life. So John Maxwell made a statement. He says, everything rises and falls on what? On leadership. Say it again. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Okay, so now I want you guys to do a little exercise with me really quickly. Look up front, and I want you to hold your right hand out. In your right hand is everything. Can you see it? What do you see? Do you see a family's future in a big house? Do you see it? Do you see the Bentley pulling up in your driveway? Do you see it? Do you see the keys to the Bentley? Can you shake the keys? Shake the keys. Shake the keys. Do you see it? Everything is in your hand right now. Success is in your hands. Can you see it? All right, everything's in your hand. So John Maxwell says everything, which is in your hands right now, your team, your downline, your organization, everything you're doing is in your hands. He says everything rises and falls on leadership. So now stretch your left hand out. And I want you to put your right hand over your left hand. Remember, in your right hand is everything, right? That's your family's destiny, your family's future. That's your bank account. $1 million in your bank account, but it's in your hands. So now, look at me carefully now, and do this with me. Say, everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. So what is everything rising and falling on? So what position is leadership? Is it here in the left hand, in the right hand, or the left hand? Okay, so leadership is what? It's your foundation. Everything will rise and fall on leadership. You know that also, you know in the Bible it says if you build a house on sand, it falls. But if you build a house upon the rock, what happens to it? It can survive the storms, right? Because leadership is the foundation upon which everything is built on. If the foundation is shaky, everything falls. If the foundation is strong, everything can stand. So if your leadership, if your influence for your team, if that foundation is not strong, then whenever anything happens, people leave, somebody quit, or you lose a point, and God help us if we miss a bonus, then what happens to the organization? It crumbles because the influence, the foundation is not strong. So that's why it's so important. So that's what the foundation is. So look at this really quickly. This is the One World Trade Center. Okay, this is the new one. Can we give it a hand really quickly? They just completed this. September 11, 2001, we had a horrible tragedy in this country. Horrible. Okay? The Twin Towers came down. But rather than stay there and cry over it because it came down, we did weep. It was very sad. It was heartbroken. We were heartbroken. I remember the day that happened. Man, it was just so horrible. We were just confused. But as a country, we rallied together and say, you know what? Let's build it again. Let's build it again. Let's build it again. So even when it came crumbling down, we could have stayed there. We could have said, you know what? Oh, you know what? This is so terrible. But what we did as a country, we pulled together and we said, we'll do what? We would what? Build it again. Look at the person next to you and say, build it again. Say, build it again. A lot of you guys have teams and your teams fall apart and you just lay on the ground like, oh, Lord, it's over. What do? You get up and do what? Build it again. You build it again. You have no choice. Don't give up. You have no choice. You just build it again. Now, a lot of you guys want to be like this building. If I were to ask you which part of this building is the leader, how many of you guys would say the top is the leader? The pinnacle, the part of the top. How many of you guys would say that's the leader? How many of you guys would say the bottom is the leader? Which part went first? Which part came last? So, so that means the part of the top could never be the leader because the bottom went first. That's the foundation. Now, depending on how wide this bottom is, depending on how deep they go with this bottom, that will determine how big the building goes, right? So the foundation is the most important part in the building. Look at this really quickly. This is what they poured into the One World Trade Center to rebuild it. You see, they rebuilt it bigger, better, and stronger the second time around. How many of you guys are willing to build it bigger, better, and stronger the second time around? The true test of your leadership is not the first time you got to build yourself to ED. The true test of your leadership is when you got to build it the second time, the third time, the fourth time, and the fifth time, and you still didn't quit. And you're still as excited the fifth time around as you were the first time. I built myself to executive director at least 3 times, national director at least twice, SVP twice, and I'm still excited about the opportunity every time I had to rebuild the position. But I built it stronger and better and deeper and wider every single time than I did the time before. So look at what they did. 48 metric tons of steel, equivalent to 22,000 cars. 150,000 cubic meters of concrete, equivalent to the length of a sidewalk from Chicago to New York. And they drove steel shafts 200 feet into the ground, All of that, where they spent hundreds of millions of dollars, all of that went into what? The foundation alone. How much are you willing to invest into your foundation? How much are you willing to invest into your leadership? How much are you willing to invest into reading and understanding network marketing? Like Mr. Ian Chebe said, becoming a professional in the industry. How much are you willing to invest to really build a strong organization? And how much of you have the courage to rebuild it even if it falls down again? So the leader sets the vision for the organization. You see, your team is following you. They're following your vision. They have their own vision, but they're following your vision too. Now, when you see this seed is like your leadership in your organization. When you see the seed, you might just see a seed. You know what I see when I see the seed? I see a forest. How many of you guys see a forest when you see a seed? A few of you guys see it. When you plant a seed in the ground, that seed grows up and become a what? A tree. That tree brings forth fruit. And in those fruit have what? More seeds. And in those seeds have more what? More trees. And those trees have more what? More fruit. And more seeds. And more trees. And more fruit. So when you see a seed, you have the potential to build what? A forest. You have the potential to build a garden. You have the potential to build an orchard. I wish there was a mango seed, though. I love mangoes. Anybody like mangoes? I'm from the islands. I'm just representing all my island people. Who from the islands out there? Okay, all of you guys are honorary island people today. All of you. Say, yeah, man. All right, cool. So whenever you see a seed, when a seed is planted, that little seed has the potential to become a forest. It has the potential to become a garden, because within that seed is millions of seeds. Millions of seeds. So when I see you, I don't just see you as a leader. You know what I see inside of you? Here's what I see inside of you. I see platinums in you. I see SVPs in you. I see hundreds of EDs in you. I see thousands of ETs in you, because you're a seed and you're the leader. And here's what a seed needs. A seed needs the right environment. Are you in the right environment right now? A seed needs nutrients. Are you getting nutrients today? All that training we're getting. Yes or yes? And a seed needs time. A seed needs time. So be patient, keep building your business. It took me 8 years to stand on this stage. Are you willing to pay the price? If it took you 8 years to stand up here, are you still willing to pay that price? All right, great, awesome. So now, this is my little friend up here. Do you know when you were born? Listen carefully, guys. You know when you were born, it was written into your DNA to run. It was written into your DNA to move so fast and to be such a winner. Matter of fact, I'll tell you this. You wouldn't even be in this room right now if you weren't already a winner. Say hello to my little friend, right? You wouldn't even be in this room right now. You know why you're here, why you're alive? Is because the day you were conceived, and Lord knows wherever that was, okay? Now, if it was the islands, it could have been on the beach, who knows, right? But the day you were conceived, do you know 500 million sperm were released the day you were conceived? 500 million. You know who won? Say, I did. Oh yeah, they were all trying to race you, like, let's go, let's go. But you know what? You had it written into your DNA to be the winner, to be the champion. That's why you're here. That's why you're here today. So don't tell me you can't lead a team. Don't tell me nobody's willing to follow you, because it's been written into your DNA the day you were born to be a winner, to be a champion, and to set the pace for your organization. Who's ready to win? Who is ready to lead your team to victory? That's the question. Awesome. So you guys know these guys? I was doing a presentation one day, and I asked the room, I said, who are these guys? And one guy put his hands up, really proud, excited. He said, that's Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And he said that because he overheard a conversation where they said they're the three wise men. But he got confused about the three wise men and Shadrach, Meshach. Anyway, but you get my point. So this is Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, guys. So Craig, Jarabek, Jeb, Tyler, Jason, Gagai. One more time, give them a hand really quickly. Love these guys. The three wise men. And these are people, guys, they accepted the responsibility of being a leader. They accepted not just the responsibility, but they're also accountable to each other. You see, they can go off and do their own thing, and we have a lot of leaders who want to go off and do their own thing, but these guys remain accountable to each other, right? Whether it's the upline, whether it's your downline, find somebody that you're accountable to. And you know what? And they're responsible. They take on the full responsibility of the organization. A lot of you guys want to be the person at the top, but you know who the most important people are? The ones at the bottom, the foundation. You see, the guy at the top, he can jump off. The organization, the structure still remains pretty much intact, right? But if any one of those guys at the bottom were to even move, if they influence that they can influence the whole structure. If they move, their influence brings everything down. Because they're holding up that entire structure. So when I see Craig, Jeb, and Jason, I don't see Craig, Jeb, and Jason as people who are at the top of this company. Even though they're the leaders of the organization, I see them as the foundation where we can now climb on their shoulders and reach for our goals and our dreams. So if I call the corporate office, as long as Craig, William, and Jason is there, I know the foundation is stable. I don't care who leaves. As long as the foundation is there, I know that the organization 5 Links and the company is going to be there for 100 years to come, as long as they're there. Because the foundation is stable, as long as they don't move. And that's what you are for your team. You can't move. You can't be wavering and looking at this company and that company. You got to be stable for your team. So your team can understand that whenever they call you, you're going to be there for them. But if they hear from your mouth, oh, let's take a look at this company this week. Let's look at that company this week. Listen, they're going to start feeling insecure. And the minute your team starts feeling insecure, you have lost your level of influence within your organization. That means they'll start looking at other people to lead them. So be good leaders. You guys with me? All right, so we spend the last few minutes talking about leadership. We spend the last few minutes talking about influence, the power of influence, and how you can influence your team. And now I want to check your level of leadership. I want to check your foundation and see how strong you are as a leader. Who would like to see how strong you are as a leader? Who would like to really know for the truth? Some of you guys are like, I don't want to know. How many of you guys would love to know exactly where you are in your level of leadership? Who would like to know that for real? Wonderful. So we got about 10 minutes left. I want to invite to the stage my beautiful wife. She's my queen. I love her with all my heart, my ribs, my liver, my kidneys. Please welcome, guys. Give her a hand. Platinum SVP, Candace Villafana. Give her a hand really quickly. Come on, stand to your feet. Give her a hand. Get a mic? Okay.
Hello, 5 Links. How are you? How you doing? Where's your income? It's going up, right? Wow. Wow, it's such a blessing to be here. Isn't Platinum Senior Vice President Vaughn doing an awesome job?
Thank you so much, Candace, and thanks for being here. And we've been having a really good time. You guys having a good time so far? Learning a lot? Okay, we got about 10 minutes to run through this, but we want to do a little foundation check for you guys really quickly. Get a pen and paper out, and I want you to grade yourself. No cheating, okay? I want you to grade yourself, and we're going to go through a checklist, and I want you to evaluate your level of leadership, which is, again, the equivalent to your influence within your organization. Because the more that influence is, the stronger it is, the stronger your team will grow. These leaders in the front row, they didn't get there by choice, by chance. They got there because they choose to work on their leadership skills. They choose to work on that. So let's go through really quickly. You guys ready? If you're ready, say I'm ready. I'm ready. All right, here we go. So investing, of course, we talked about investing. We talked about how in the World Trade Center, how they poured millions of dollars into their business. So you got to be willing to do what? To invest in your business, yes? If you're a leader, you're going to influence your team. So if you read books on network marketing, if you invested in products and services within this company, if you also you come to conferences, well, of course, you're here today, so give yourself a hand for that. You're here at the conference. So if you buy books on network marketing, if you come to the conferences, you're getting your team to come to the conferences, you're spending money on airline tickets, on hotel costs, if you also buy the products and services, this is all examples of what you got to do to invest and to become successful. So now, the Inspector General over here who's going to help us out, Inspector General, is going to give you a point value for everything that you say, I do this, because you're investing in your business. So Inspector General, how many points are we going to give them for buying books and network marketing?
All right, guys. So if you are, this is very important, investing. If you even read one book since you've been in this company, if you read just one book, I'm going to be very generous, because you know when Jeb Tyler gives points away, he's really generous, right? So give yourself 1 point if you've even read a network marketing book. 1 point. Come on,
give yourself a hand. 1 point.
1 point. All right?
No. When Jeb gives you all points, you all get really excited. 1 point. Let me hear you. That's Jeb, right? I feel like running around the stage. That's what I feel like doing. All right, so for products and services, you want more points? Okay, for products and services, we're giving them what?
We're giving you more.
2 points for products and services.
2 points.
How's that?
If you invest in your products and services, give yourself 2 points. It's very important. I hope everybody's writing.
All right.
I hope everybody's doing that one.
More points? Okay, so for conferences, how many points do you want for coming to the conference? Can't give you 5, but we can give you what? 3 points. How's that? 3 points for conferences. Okay, so now listen, you gotta be checking your points, all right? You gotta be writing down those numbers. All right, so give yourself a point value. Either 1 for if you bought a book, if you use the products and services, if you come to the conferences and you're getting your team to the conferences, then give yourself a point value for that. You guys ready?
That's your attendance only points, guys.
Attendance only points, 3 points.
3 points for being here today.
Now, we talked about responsibility and how important it is to be responsible and to be able to carry the weight of your organization. And so we want to give you guys points as well for being responsible. So if you go on team conference calls, if you do your 5 Links University, all the way to platinum. Now, if you did it to ET and ED, you don't get any points. You get points only for what? Going to platinum. If you acquire customers, and if you also got business partners, it is your responsibility to do all these things. Your responsibility to go on conference calls, to get customers, to get business partners, all right? These are all your responsibility, to do your platinum training. So, Inspector General, how many points are we going to give him for all
this is what we're going to do. Get ready to write, guys, because I know you're going to get some of these points. If you go on your team conference calls every week, and not only that, if you get your team on those calls, give yourself 1 point.
1 point, all right?
All right?
Come on, you almost not excited about 1 point.
That's your reasonable service.
You want more points?
You want more points? Okay, let's see what you're doing, because we're checking your foundation, not our foundation, your foundation, right? You're the leader. You're the one you're Craig, Jeb, and Jason in your business.
That's right.
Right? So if you did the 5 Links University training, give yourself a hand. But if you trained all the way up to platinum, give yourself a point.
1 more point.
All right, I hear somebody over there that's ready. Okay, let's see if you've acquired customers in the last 30 days, guys, if you've acquired a customer at least, give yourself 2 points.
2 points? Come on, 2 points.
Right now,
come on now.
In the last 30 days, if you have gotten a business partner, give yourself 2 more points.
2 points for that as well.
We're checking that foundation.
Look at your neighbor's score and see they're cheating. Just make sure they're not cheating. All right, we talked about integrity, how important it is. When I was anybody here in the military? Who's in the military? Anybody here was a veteran? Who was a veteran? Can we give our military and veterans a hand really quickly for all the sacrifices they make? 7 years in the Navy, guys, loved it. Navy, go Navy. And one of the things, come on, okay, I'm sorry, go Army. Okay, go Marines, go Air Force. Y'all crazy. All right, so now, when I was in the Navy, one of the things we would have was an integrity check. So we had to walk around, make sure there was no holes in the hull of the ship, make sure that the ship was stable, okay? And your business is like that. You gotta make sure that there are no leaks in your character. Because listen, it only takes 1 time to mess up and you can lose your whole downline. Okay, so you gotta have integrity. You gotta make sure you are doing what you say you're doing. You can't tell your team, like I said earlier, come to a conference, use products, use services, and you're not using them. So is integrity important? As a leader, it's so important, all right? You can ask our ex-president about that. Anyway, I won't go there. All right, so leading by, some of you guys got that. So leading by example, must have integrity. Using the products, not just having the products, but what? Using the products, okay? And also using the services. You can't go tell your friends and family Montevideo is good, but you got it in a corner in a box, never open the box. Integrity is important, right? Because they will come to your house and they'll see it. They'll be like, I thought you told me it was good. Okay? So, Inspector General, how many points are we going to give him?
Well, as the Inspector General, you know, integrity is so huge in your business, you're going to get 2 points for each of these.
2 points?
Okay?
How's that?
Okay,
Is
guys,
that good?
if you're leading by example, give yourself 2 points.
2 more points?
Using the products, all right? 2 points.
2 points for that.
Not one of those people saying, I don't drink coffee, right? I didn't drink coffee either. Now I drink it every day because it's one of my products.
Who got 6 points for that one? Anybody got 6 points for that? Wonderful, wonderful. All right, here's the last one, and then we'll do a tally. I want you guys to tally all your points after. And we got a few minutes here. Let's run through it quickly. So accountability. As I told you all, everybody must be accountable. I have accountability partners in 5 Links. I have upline accountability partners. I have mentors outside of 5 Links who I'm accountable to. Because when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I used to always tell Platinum SVP Ian Chebe, I say, brother, I'm not even talking. Just watch my actions. Who feels the same way? Some people just talk too much. Just watch my actions. But I'm accountable to somebody. So for accountability, if you have an accountability partner in 5 Links, if you have done a welcome call with your last sign-up with that accountability partner, if you do 3-way calls with your prospects with the accountability partner, it might be upline, it might be somebody else in the company, but the fact is you have an accountability partner. And if you also call that accountability partner at least once a week, so, Inspector General, let's give him some points for that.
So you guys know how it works. If you have an accountability partner, whether it's upline, sideline, or what have you, give yourself a point for that.
1 point.
If you have done a welcome call consistently, so think about your last sign-up. Did you do a welcome call? Did you let them know who else they can work with? Give yourself a point for that.
1 more point.
Now, this is huge. This should be a 100%er. If you do 3-way calls with every prospect, okay, every positive prospect that you're peeking out there, are you doing 3-way calls? Give yourself a point for that.
Okay.
And now, if you keep in touch with your accountability partner, whether that's your upline or whoever you're accountable to, do you call them at least once a week, or do you wait for them to call you? Really, you should be calling them every day. So if you're doing that, if you call them at least once, think back to the last week. Give yourself 3 points.
3 points. Who got 6 points for that one as well? Okay, who got 5 points on that one? 4 points. All right, great, wonderful. All right, so now we want to check and make sure, we want to check to see how strong your foundation is. Really quickly, guys, add up your total. Add up your total. Okay? So now, we want to make sure your business is earthquake-proof. Earthquake-proof. So you're going to fall into a few categories. One is 1 to 6. Okay? And if it's 1 to 6, that means that the foundation is weak.
It's much to improve, and I'm going to try to go really quickly. I'm from California, so this is key. You want your foundation to be earthquake-proof because that can destroy everything you've been building. Okay, so if you're weak, if you have 1 through 6, something can knock you out, like somebody just, rejecting you, somebody saying no, or that skeptical person that says, is this a pyramid scheme, right? That can knock you out, so you got to improve.
Okay, so we have 7 through 12. Any 7 through 12s out there? Make some noise. Okay, we got a few of you guys. Okay, 7 through 12 would be mediocre, but
on your way.
On your way.
You've gotten through the no's. You're okay. You're over it if people quit. But in this one, this is where you sign somebody up, and this is the person you thought was going to blow it up, and they just ended up doing nothing and just quitting. Okay. This is where you got to strengthen that foundation. Let's look at the next one.
13 through 18. Any 13 through 18s out there? Come on, give yourself a hand.
All right.
Okay, this will be solid. So give yourself a hand for having a solid foundation. All right.
This is a solid and stable foundation, but it's not finished yet. So this is where you've built the business, you got through the no's, you're over it with people quitting, but when life happens, it really impacts you. It hits you. It could be income loss or maybe a job loss, right? So you want to make sure that if you are, in this frame, this is the one that gets a lot of people. Somebody will come whisper to them and say, like, hey, the grass is greener over here, right? And they might stop everything they've been building and try to move somewhere else and then mess the whole thing up. Then you're starting back over from scratch. Mm-hmm. So you want to really stabilize yourself because it's really not finished at this level.
And the last one is 19 through 24. How many of you guys are 19 through 24? Come on, stand up if you're 19 through 24. Stand up for a second. Can we give all the 19s through 24 a hand really quickly? Give them a big hand. So that means you got an exceptional foundation. But listen, guys, even at 19 through 24, your foundation is not finished. You still got a whole lot of work to do, but at least you're on your way. All right, so give all our 19s through 24 a hand really quickly. So in closing, here are a few words we want to leave with you in closing. First of all, leaders are always willing to do what? Reinvent themselves. Okay, I told you guys before, I started at the back of the conference in the last row. I had to Jim Rohn said, to have more, you must what? Become more. I had to become more in order to get to the level of platinum. And the last thing I want to leave with you guys is the leader is the head, but the journey starts where? At the bottom, all right? So here's my question to you. Would you follow you? That's my question to you before I leave. Would you follow you? And if you will not follow you, what will it take for you to become the leader where you're willing to even follow yourself? Because if you can't even convince you to follow you, you can't convince anyone. But you know what I see in you? I see greatness. I see champions. I see leaders. I see people who are going to be standing on this stage as SVPs, as platinums. I see people who are going to change their family's destiny and their family's future. Are you guys ready to do that? Then stand to your feet and say, I'm a leader. I'm a leader. I'm a leader. God bless you all, guys. This is Platinum SVP Vaughn and Candace. Have a great day.